Hi, it's Alaska Granny. When we watch the news, what do we hear? Volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, heat waves, forest fires, tariffs. We don't know what's coming. There seems to be a crisis of the day every time you turn around. Today I wanted to share with you some foods you might want to buy before there is an actual crisis that hits your family, your community, and what would impact how your day-to-day life goes. The reason we're preppers is to make sure that we can provide the things we need for our family to keep our days running smoothly. It's lifestyle insurance, and having some just simple, inexpensive foods can really keep your life running smoothly. That's why I'm a prepper. Something I've been doing for quite a while that helps me save money, be organized, and then lighten the load. I hate going to the grocery store, and I've been doing the online grocery shopping, and then I go and pick up the grocery products at my local store. Sometimes it's challenging. They don't have all of the things that I want, but lately it's been better. And what happens is if I'm looking online and I'm getting ready to place the order, if I see things are out of stock, sometimes I put it off for a few days. I go back and look again. And that has helped me cut down on expenses because I realize I have a lot of food in my home. I can use, rotate, and replace it. And that's one of the things that I'm doing today with these easy foods to buy is replacing some of the foods that I've been using, adding to my stockpile so that I can continue to make meals. It's important that you buy foods that you're willing to eat and that you use, rotate, and replace them. And if you're like me, it might be also a good time that you want to cut back on your spending and focus your spending on things that you really want and need. I'm trying to focus on cutting waste and not cutting joy. So if I can save a little money, buy things that I like, and have some money left over for things that I want to actually do in my life. That's how I feel I'm making the most out of every single day and trying to make the most of every single dollar. So let's go through some easy foods to buy before the next crisis hits. My grandchildren were here recently and they love peanut butter by the spoon. They've just about wiped out my supply of peanut butter. So I had to restock and I picked up a jar of peanut butter, which is so simple. You can just eat it off a spoon. You can make a sandwich. You can put it on bread. You can roll it up with oatmeal and make some drop or no bake type cookies. There's lots of things to do with peanut butter. To go with your peanut butter, you might want some crackers. Crackers go with a lot of things, but my kids love peanut butter on a Ritz. My favorite crackers are the Triscuit avocado cilantro lime. I love these with hummus, and they're just delicious. My kids, I don't know why, since they were little tiny, called these robot crackers, so we still call them robot crackers. The next easy food would be nuts. You can just get any kind of nuts that you like. They're going to last quite a while in your pantry, and they're easy to just open them and eat them. They're full of protein, and they're just good. Find some nuts that you like. Next, I bought a bag of trail mix. Trail mix has fruit and nuts. It's loaded with protein. It's easy to just scoop it up and eat it. And I realized that the large bag was far less expensive per ounce than the bags that were portioned into smaller containers. And if you have some Ziploc bags, you can portion this out yourself if you need it, or even if you have some little plastic containers that you normally put in, say, your kid's lunchbox. You don't have to buy it pre-packaged. Why spend extra dollars on plastic wrap if you don't need to? So I think trail mix is fantastic to have for my foods in a crisis. This one is sweet and crunchy. A mix of raisins, pineapple, apricots, banana chips, almonds, papaya, cranberries, and walnuts. You can find them with things like M&Ms and marshmallows, but that's not my preference on this day, but whatever yours is. Look over the trail mixes and find ones. The more nutritious you can find them, the better off, and I think this one is great. Granola bars are also great. I already had some in stock, so I didn't buy any more. But I wanted to show you this as a food choice you might want to have for easy foods to have in case there's a crisis. Simple choices of dried fruit are great too. We can have fresh fruit, but it just doesn't keep. Canned fruits, the cans give out. You can have frozen fruit, but it's easy to have a few bags, varieties of different kind of dried fruits. Look at things like raisins and craisins and bananas, and this time I picked up a bag of apricots, or apricots, however you prefer to say them, because I think they're just delicious. They're also very nutritious, and they're easy to just open the bag, pop a few in your mouth, and then you're good to go. Another easy food to have on hand is dried cereal. So I picked up 3 different boxes of the store brand. Here's some raisin bran with oat clusters. Here's some just toasted oats, which are like Cheerios. Honey and oats with almonds. So you don't have to pour these into a bowl and serve them with milk, but you can. I like to store the Nido Fortificata powdered milk, but I don't necessarily eat cereal with milk. And if I do, I actually like it with real milk. So a choice would be to get some of the UHT milk, which is the ultra high temperature. It comes in a cardboard box. It's shelf stable. And when I'm in the lower 48, you can get that shelf stable milk for $1.25 for a quart. The price of it here in Alaska is astronomical. So while the UHT milk is something that I like to have on hand, it's just too expensive for me to have right now if I figure I can just snack on the cereal and I also have some fresh milk. But if you like to have cereal and you want to make sure you have some kind of milk, you can't have enough of the fresh milk on hand, look at getting some of the UHT or some powdered milk. Next, let's look at different kinds of canned beans. They are so simple to use. You can find beans that are flavored, that you just open them and eat them. You can find beans that are just the single ingredient beans that you can add into soup, stews, chilies, bean salads. There's all kinds of things, all different kind of beans. And these are nice because they're already fully prepared. You just need to open the can. One of the things that I found when I was looking online, look at this, the choices on the beans. The first one is dog food. I don't know how that ended up on this search. Make sure that you're not buying dog food instead of beans. It sounded pretty good though. I picked up a few extra cans of canned meat. I have some chicken and some salmon. This is so simple to just open it up and add it into soup, stews, casseroles. Make it into chicken salad. Add it into pasta. Make macaroni and pasta salads. Wrap it in a burrito, add it with some veggies, and have a quinoa bowl. There's all kinds of different ways that you can use canned meat, and they can sit in your shelf for many years. They're not very expensive. They last a long, long time, and I think you can depend on canned meats lasting, say, 8 or 10 years, but you still need to use, rotate, and replace them. Look over the canned meats and find ones that you enjoy, and those are ones that you should add into your stockpile for foods to have on hand in case there's a crisis. I have a lot of rice, and it's so easy to prepare, but I also decided to pick up another box of minute rice because you really don't need to do any cooking. If you can get some boiling water in your tea kettle or on your emergency stove, you don't have to keep cooking the minute rice for a long time. And if you have some soups, perhaps that you made that don't seem thick enough, add in a little bit of minute rice and let it soak up, and it will thicken up your soup and make it more stew, more filling, and help stretch your food. It's also so simple. If you have something like minute rice, you could prepare it, grab a can of your canned meat, maybe a jar of gravy, pour it together, and you have a quick and easy meal. Open a can of vegetables on the side. Do you see how you can continue to mix and match your foods and make meals out of them? So don't just buy single ingredients without an idea of how you might want to prepare them. Beans and rice always go together, so it's great to have some cans of beans and some minute rice. That's practically like having an emergency meal that requires almost no cooking, but you still have to be able to, say, boil a little bit of water and maybe heat your beans. But if you just could heat up the rice, you could stir in your beans, and the hot rice is going to help warm them up, so it would be good enough. Let us know, what foods are you buying before there's a crisis? It seems like it's so foreboding that there's going to be something happen. We just don't know what it is. So add a little bit to your food stockpile. Tighten up your budget so that you have enough money on hand for an emergency. And then remember, don't cut the joy out of your life. Cut the waste out of your life, because you want to have the best of every day that you can. I hope you'll like my video, share it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.